Hi, Sander. How are you? And it's the new year. This is
It is
true.
the new year. It
How
is.
how do we get honest with ourselves?
Well, that's a good question, and now is the right time to do it as we begin 2020. There's a a good piece by someone I really admire, Gary Bernison, who is the CEO of the Korn Ferry Agency, the one of the better agencies for recruiting top execs, and he wrote an interesting column recently that I liked a lot. You know, make your list for the new year 2020 and check it twice. So what are we going to do? Number one, get honest with yourself. Uh, Not to burn out over the 2020 holidays, but it's time for some honest talk with yourself about your career. So, a when was your last raise, and how much was it, if anything? When was your last promotion? When was the last time somebody said thank you for the work you've done? And if the answers are not what you'd like, you need to take control so you can pursue the next job, whether it's inside the company or, in fact, outside. To take an inventory. Before you look outside for opportunities, you need to look inside and become more self-aware. One, identify your strengths and weaknesses and experiences, passion and motivation. How are you indispensable in your current job? What will your next boss want to hire you? Why will he want to hire you? And next, assess yourself. Don't just take your own word for it. Everyone overestimates their strengths and underestimates their weaknesses. An objective assessment can reveal more about you. For example, he made this up. To find out how learning agile you are, take this is the Korn Ferry, tuna fish sandwich test. Now, what is the tuna fish sandwich test? So you're interviewing now, right? And all of a sudden, in the middle of the interview, uh, the recruiter would say, "So, how do you make a tuna fish sandwich?" What? That's what you need to anticipate. Questions like that in the middle of your interview. So, how do you handle it? You sit back, smile, and have an answer. Say, why are you asking the question? But let me tell you why, and how I would do it. Get ready for those surprise questions during your interview. Okay, next, target your opportunities. To get the job you really want, you need to target really the next options. Write down your skills and competencies and the role and responsibilities that's best fit you. Identify clearly where you want to live and work. And don't fool yourself with, I can go anywhere, if that's not true. If you want to work for Google, Amazon, Apple, they're all in different locations. Well, you talk about Google, they have a big office here in Manhattan. But, do you want to work in these places where, you know, you have to think about that. What companies do you admire for their purpose and mission? Where could you really see yourself working? Very important, sitting back. It's always, sitting back on the weekend and just focusing on things like that. Next, give your network a season's greetings. This is important. If you can't get out of your network, what you haven't put in, you need to network. But don't make it all about you. Send some holiday good wishes to people you haven't heard from in a while. Be genuinely interested in what's going on with them. Don't come out of the gate expecting help with a job search. If you do, you'll quickly put off people who haven't heard from you in years. So networking is really important, very important. Stay with people who have connections. Okay, next, seek out warm introductions. With a robust network and a targeted list of where you want to work, you can start to narrow things down. Identify specific people you know at your targeted companies or within the department or division where you want to work. Add to the list that, quote, somebody who knows someone who knows somebody, unquote, at the companies or departments where you want to work. Very important for your research before you even start your interviewing. Next, importantly, refresh your memories. Refresh your resume, but don't overdo it. Fight the temptation to put all your time and energy into your resume, and it accounts for about 10% of what you need to get for your next job. Far more important are targeting and networking. This is interesting, right? Which is why they're higher on the list. That said, here are a few tips for a resume that will help you get noticed. 1, identify your most important accomplishments for your current and most recent jobs. 2, make a bulletin list of specific contributions with quantifiable details. Next, show a staircase pattern of increasing job titles and responsibilities, where you were, middle, and now where you are right now because of what you've done. And finally, use white space and bold fonts to make the resume look clean and attractive to the eye. Very, very important. And have a resume for specific jobs. It's not the same resume for every job. Next, video record yourself. Very important that you have a video of yourself so you see what you look like during the interview. This is the advice no one takes, but it can really, really make a huge impact. Video yourself. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Describe 3 accomplishments and do that on video so you can see what you look like. Eye contact, slight smile on your face, as we've discussed before, the Bill Clinton look. And then get your answers down to 30 seconds. Not only will it help you prepare for your interviews, but you will also become more concise as you write and edit your resume. So very, very important. That's some tips for our listeners. That's things you can do on the weekend now. Just sit back and just make your list and, go over it twice. Check it twice. This will help you get your next job. Okay. That's about it, Jill.
Okay. So a quick question. When you talk to people, because all of this is really good advice, but it does require a certain amount of self-awareness. And
Yes.
I'm always personally stunned when people exhibit less, shall we say, self-awareness than, might be clinically necessary to have a good life and get a good job. So
Yes.
how do you deal with that when?
That's a very good question, Jill. Very good. The way you deal with that, pardon me, is mentorship. Be sure you have a good mentor. So when you talk about strengths and weaknesses, you can't judge it yourself. You need someone to tell you what they see in you. So mentorship is very important. A smart mentor. Probably if you can find another CEO, a friend who is very, very good at this, or a good human resource person with who you work with, they can really help you with your strengths and weaknesses to focus on.
That is and just out of curiosity, how would you? That's the same advice somebody gave me when I first came to New York and went. You just said I want to be such and such, and
Yes.
he said, "Well, you better find someone who can help you with that." And
Yes.
he wasn't talking about networking; he was talking about you polishing me up. But how does one just fresh off the assembly line? How do you go about finding a mentor? Any tricks? Any tips?
Well, if you personally don't know one, ask a friend, ask a colleague, whom you can get in touch with for some help. And that's how you do it. I mean, we all don't have great mentors personally, but when you start to network a little bit, that's how you get them. That's how you find them. For example, I was asked to be the mentor to the graduate students at the Ohio State University. They asked me to do it because I'm a former CEO of a large firm, and a lot of people under me, and so I have the mentorship experience. So we have a ton set aside for these students in the MBA program to call me for mentorship, and that's how you do it. But you have to network to find them.
Thank you very much, Sandra Flaum, Leader's Edge.
Thank you, Jill.